Really?
Jason Williams of Mitochondria. About a year after I talked to you during Arc Spire and Obscura, it's been almost a year. Simon of Girard of Beyond Creation. A pleasure as always.
Yeah, thank you very much for the interest.
Of course, it's been a year since that amazing tour. It was the last day of that tour, the LA show, and about a week before the new album came out, I was going to ask how the tour was, but every picture you post of Portland and all these shows, turnout's been outstanding. The vibe and everyone's just coming to see. Give me a brief summary. How's the tour been going along?
It's going pretty well, actually. I think like the tour package is really good. People were really excited to see all the bands, and also I'm really happy about playing the new album live in full, like from first to last. I think people were also pretty excited about seeing this live, and even people that never seen us, maybe just seen like some videos on the internet, and we can definitely tell they enjoy themselves in the shows, and all the shows been really great so far.
Say like last week I went to see Revocation with Voivod and Psychroptic, and as you, they played the whole new album, and I talked about a lot of bands will kind of do that sometimes for the heck of it, but when the new album like theirs and yours is so strong, it means something different. You felt, looking at live, the band seemed pretty confident and effortlessly playing the new album. Everyone must have seemed to really bonded during the process, no?
Yeah, so I wanted to make something a little different than the previous album, and getting into a concept album was really something that was feeling me. Like I really wanted to, I don't know, have more of a cinematic kind of ambiances, and I think it goes pretty well on live because you have so much dynamics in it and bass. People can breathe more, and like the new album is also more melodic, and all of us, it's a little bit different than the two previous one, maybe less fast and technical. Like the technicality is more into the composing side of it, so the chords, progressions, and the choices of notes and like scales and everything. But yeah, I think it's more easy for people to get into it, and even if it's the first time they see us live, to appreciate the concert because it's more melodic and they have like all kind of atmospheres, and so yeah.
I would say this album is so well-rounded. For like Surface Echoes in the beginning, middle, and the end, Hugo's doing a very like slap bass on the low notes. It looks like playing with it. It has this extra bass and this extra level of like atmosphere. There's these little techniques I've noticed as well, like the inversion. Probably my favorite song in the album. And on the middle time, there's like a double counterpoint before the vocals go in, and just those like little things that, as advanced as you are, you made even leaps and bounds over the previous two albums. Talk about what's like influenced you to make that next level of technique and ability.
It's hard to say because the more it goes, the less I listen to metal music. But I don't know, I was more into prog stuff, and for example, like Pink Floyd. I'm always coming back on this, but Pink Floyd is really one of my biggest influence because I don't know, like all they did was, I think, genius. Like the way they composed, and to me, like the really fun process is to compose music, to get different atmospheres, like to feel different vibes, and I don't know, like Pliny also. A good friend of us, do amazing music that certainly influenced me in the new recording. Nick Johnston, which is like a blues progressive guitar player. So many bands, but at the same time it's hard to like pick one, choose. It's all, I don't know, it's the background. It's many years of listening to different things. And Leprous, yes, I need to say Leprous is one of my really I really enjoyed the all their albums, but the last one, Malina, is incredible. Incredible. I love it.
They toured about like 6 months ago here and in the Glass and Pomona and Glass House, and like everyone caught on like kind of quickly of how ridiculously talented they are. I can see the inspiration.
Yeah, they're outstanding.
I like to ask you, because you mentioned about them. I don't know what kind of theories you've had, like as a guitar player, as a fan and musician, but for me, a lot of people say, oh, the 90s metal is the best. Oh, the 80s metal is the best. In terms of talent, skill, and that level of ability and uniqueness and riffing, I'd say the 2000s for me, for overall skill, in terms of, I know Gorguts made Obscure in 98, but Hate Eternal, Origin, Lakeithia Flame, Augury, like Ulcerate, Anata, those bands that took that extra level. And I would call you guys in that same group, that extra level of metal where it's not 4x4 timing. It's not typical chorus blending in. It's this extra level. And we talked last year and you said that when you see music, it's more of like shapes and colors and emotions. I like to ask, being in, I consider you in that level of group, how do you see music and how are you able to write whatever you see?
Well, when I write music, it's a lot of time where I try things. I write a bunch of stuff, and some of it is not good, obviously. So this is where I kind of need to pick up and choose what I keep and what I like let go. But the thing is, it's like something that you need to sit down and just work out and try different things. It's get out of your comfort zone. I don't know. Like writing music is really a fun process, and I think when you say about the 90s, it's really a matter of how the bands can conjugate the technicality with the emotions, because you can be really good musicians or playing really technical stuff but have no feelings out of it. And there's also the other side where you have a lot of emotion, but every song is really, really simple. So you kind of like get fast through it because there's not much details to analyze like over the years. Mm-hmm. Which I would say, I don't know, the Beatles, I'm a big fan of the Beatles, but I know really well the songs. Sometimes I pick up metal albums, and I listen it back like 10 years after, and I still can find some new details and feel back the emotion. So like, it's just, I think finding the right amount between details and emotions, and that's a work in progress. I'm always like, it's a hard process, like writing some music. It's really fun, but yeah, it's consuming, I would say.
My Beatles opinion, for me at least, I actually like them all separately. Wings, John Lennon, their individual albums I actually like more than the band itself, personal opinion for me.
Yeah, they really have like their own style, their own kind of writing, and you can definitely tell which one it is. So that's cool. That's
and you talk about melody as well. I noticed as well, especially the last song, The Afterlife, the closing song, the solo you play, the first two, it repeats. It has this like lifting melody that it's like one of the quote unquote happiest moments I've heard in the band, of like something even someone who's not in the metal can like kind of like and love. And tell me about your placement of melody on this album and how it ventured differently from the first two. Because you're right, I noticed it right away in a lot of parts during the songs and in the last song as well.
Yeah, it's a lot more melodic. That's exactly where I wanted to go, direct the band, where, as I said, it's not like getting a little bit less technical on the fretboard
Mhm.
or like the drum itself. It's still really technical, but it's more into the composition and the choices we do, like the colors and stuff. Um, and like even the drum, um, there was, so here it is. I work separately with each member, Hugo, Phil, and Kevin. Uh, so once I finish writing all the songs, I send them the songs, and I work with them to explain what do I hear when I'm listening to those songs and composing. And Phil is a really outstanding good drummer, and I think we communicate really good, like musically together, but still it's hard sometimes. Like, art is so much of, like, it's your personal background. It's how you feel. Uh, what have you listened back, and what are you on this right moment, which will influence your writing.
Mhm.
And so Phil, there's that the ending part in binomial structures, fa na 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 na, and I wanted something really. It's really simple, but it just get in your head, and there's some tiny little details like all around it, and little difference, but it keep it simple. And like Phil was going a little crazy, and I was like, okay, so let's keep it simple. Like okay, we have some two different types, two different measure, and then we repeat it, and it's just, I feel it's perfect like this. It's just, I don't know, choosing the right amount in between technicality and emotions, so like people can recall to well, the same with the two little solos you mentioned
Right.
on the Afterlife. So it's something I wanted to like just put again, because I don't know, it feels good. It's short. It's just, I don't know. It's hard to explain how things go.
I'm kind of getting a little bit, and no, as much as I can. And this is Hugo's first time working on the new record, right? I can tell from opening the band and then with you guys as well, his confidence and his tone and just his presence. He feels more comfortable like than I can remember. Tell me about his contributions on the album for his first time and what he provided for you in the band, as a musician.
Hugo is really, really talented, and I think because yeah, obviously, so he picked up all Forrest's work on the Aura and Earthborn Evolution, so he kind of like he got all this kind of like emotions and background from the previous album, and so he kind of knew that he had a big job to fill, but at the same time was telling him that the new direction with this new album was really melodic and emotions. It doesn't matter how technical it is. First rule is you need to get a message, get an emotion out to the fans and people that listen to it. And I think he really managed to do something really, really interesting for bassists, for players, and at the same time, people that listen to it and don't really know music or theory or anything, they can appreciate, because there's a lot of details, but it serves well the music. Some people might not like it because they might seem it's too much.
Mm-hmm.
But for us, we're really confident, and he did a really good job. So yeah, as I said, same thing. I was writing both guitars, and once the song is finished, I sent him the track, and he can start working on it. And then I could, after get to his place and explain to him a little bit more in detail what I wanted as like background, or if this is just like sometimes the bass is out front, or sometimes it needs to serve like more of an ambience kind of feels. Right?
Yeah.
So
Okay, and about Kevin as well. I believe he joined the band about a year or two after you started the band. Close to that.
2008.
Okay, a pretty long time. He's been the most, longest member beside yourself, obviously.
Yep.
Talk to me about how he's contributed with your work, and as a band member, as a friend, as a guitar player. He recreates all the stuff that you do on stage, so he has somewhat of a decent understanding of what you play. Tell me about his presence, his inspiration, and his ability in your band.
Yeah, Kevin is a really, really good guitar player, and he have a lot of imagination, a nice presence too. Like, so I've been writing both like all the songs, guitars, but all his solos are really unique, and he really gets like his own feeling, his own touch. And there's also like a thing where, so I'm composing the song, but the way he plays is definitely different than I am. So when we record and he record his part, it's definitely like you can definitely tell like who played that part.
In detail, what does he do different than you in certain ways?
I mean, it's just the way you pick, the way you do like the slides, or I don't know, it's little details. You can.
That's
you
why
can say,
I must know.
Yeah, it's some little details, but yeah, you can definitely tell. Like, I don't know. There's some part where he tracked both guitar, and some other where I did. I tracked both guitars, so it's more. It feels the same, right? It's not too much like separated. And on the new album, he wrote Surface Echoes, the second part of the song. So he wrote the last part, and I just add my my parts, my
Your
guitar
parts.
part.
Yeah.
And he also created two of the lyrics on the album. And yeah, lyrics is always something hard for me, because it's at the really end of the process where I do all the music, and then once it's finished, I have like a really good idea of the ambience for each songs and what can I talk about. I love to talk about things that means something to me. It's not like I'm not into that chord kind of thing. So yeah. So being there when I was writing some stuff, and it's fun to involve and like improve yourself as a writer. But he knows that it's something that I kind of struggle sometimes, and he just said like, "Hey, I have some text with me. If you wanna like read it, we can work it out and make it on the album." And I was like, "Yeah, that's a really really nice idea," and I was very happy he offered me. So yeah, we worked out this text together, and I think it's really like the context of the album was really good fit with those lyrics. So he did Afterlife and also Ethereal Kingdom. So it's really, yeah, it fits well.
Would you say this is the first time that you allowed or asked the other band members for more contribution than, say, the first two albums?
Well, I did all the lyrics on the other albums, and I did under 100% of all the riffs and songs on the other albums. But on this one, it just came out where the vocals was, I don't know, he offered me, and I was kind of struggling a little bit. So yeah, I was really happy, and I took it with a lot of joy. Like, I was very happy he offered.
Would that translate to maybe in other future albums or songs where the other band members would maybe contribute like a little more? Or like, or is it more comfortable that you kind of know what the band needs to do musically and their input's great? And at that point, or would it be at some point where maybe there's a song you like, you could, write a song for the album? Would that ever be something that would ever conspire? Since you said there was more contribution on this record, maybe say lyrically and maybe musically beyond?
Yeah. I don't know. It's hard to tell. Of course, my really fun part is to create music. So to me, it's like, it's not, I don't know. I don't feel like the way to compose music. It just comes, and I do it with a lot of passion, a lot of fun. And I'm really happy because all the every songs that I've put out, every parts that I wrote, they like it, and you can definitely tell they appreciate.
They believe in you.
Yeah, exactly. They appreciate what I create, and it works really good like this. So I'm not closed-minded to anyone, as Kevin wrote like the second part of Surface Echoes, but I just think it works really well the way it is since the beginning. And yeah, we all find our places where in the arrangements they have their own space, and their own spice.
It's been a year since your last tour supporting Obscura and Archspire, and this tour headlining. Is there a sense, since the well received crowd and the fans and the shows this tour, is it going to be sooner or later that the band would like to tour coming up here, or would you wait for another big headlining tour or even a bigger support tour maybe later in the year or next year?
Well, we definitely want to come back to US, because before the Obscura tour, we've been out for 2 years, so we haven't played US for 2 years. So yeah, we definitely want to come back and see our fans again, but it would probably, since we are now playing the Algorythm tour, it would definitely be with other bands, maybe as direct support or opener. We'll see. It's always hard to tell exactly when, but before the next album, we will definitely come back in the US.
Okay. My last question actually about your 3 albums, and it's okay. I like to ask because each album is the signature Beyond Creation, but each album differs, in the riffing, the production, the atmosphere, the lyrics, and the song lengths and everything as well. Tell me, you can say this album is your very best. I would say it is overall your most well-balanced, best record, but each album I know meant something in one way. Tell me, what did each album at the point you made it really mean to you? Because there was a lot of transformation and growth, it sounds like, within your life and who you are that translated into music. Yeah. What did each album for your life and the band mean to you?
Okay, so The Aura is definitely the 20, where we have a lot of energy and speed, and it's really technical. And that's funny because we were practicing back those songs, all of them, because we want to play songs in the next few dates. So yeah, The Aura was really, I don't know, energetic. Earthborn Evolution was where progressive really hit me more than before. I was confident where, okay, I know The Aura, people like it, it's technical, it's we have a lot of fun playing it, but at the same time I wanted to incorporate things that I wanted to play at this very right moment. But still, you kind of definitely tells where there's kind of a, I don't go out completely. It's still technicals and fast, and there's some progressive elements, but it's still very, let's say,
bottled up.
yeah,
Right.
right. And the third one, Algorythm, which is definitely the one that I like the most, that I prefer, and especially like playing it. So with the years, that was funny because I always remember when we were practicing for the aura, that one guy in another band was telling me, "Oh, you'll see. Like later, you're gonna like be bored of playing fast and like technical, and you just want to have fun." And I was like, "Yeah." Like whatever. Like we'll see.
Yeah.
And then the more it goes, it's not that I don't want to play fast, or it's not that I don't want to play technical stuff, but it's more, I understand more now where in composition where I evolve, and where you can create some beautiful atmospheres with something that is maybe a little more easy listening,
Mm-hmm.
and that people can really dig from the first listen. Like, and having a concept album is something that I've been like dreaming for a long time, because I don't know, I just think it's magical. It's not others album. It's not all the bands that do this, and when I hear bands that do concept album, I just think it's, if it's well made, just think it's genius. And like I was happy to work that way. One of my big inspiration was Cynic, Trace in Air. I love this album, and I just think like you cannot just listen to one song. It's the whole thing.
It's pretty underrated too, because everyone will talk about Focus more for good reason, but Trace and Air is really good too.
Outstanding good. I love that album, and so yeah, I wanted to get something where everything like matched together, all the atmospheres, and at the same time every song is different, but it's just, I don't know, there's something that recalled it all together. And I have a lot of fun doing this, and I will certainly try eventually to make another one. But yeah, I would say the new one is the point where I was really confident that it was the right moment to explore and push the boundaries, where there's no more like, I don't care about, some people maybe won't, maybe prefer the aura, and some other prefer the last one. And that's where I said to myself, like, I don't really care anymore what people will say, because it's just, you play what you like, what you love, and that's how people will feel it. Because if you force yourself to play something, I think people will see it eventually. Like, see, at the aura at the time, I was really happy to play it. I was really into it. But now, a couple of years later, I'm somewhere else. I still love to play those songs. It's really nice. I mean, we all worked on it, and it's beyond creation. But where am I right now is just like, I want to play something at this very right moment that I really care about, that I really love, and it's way different than at the beginning. Middle is still my love. It's like my, I don't know, my little baby. I will write metal music, of course, but we can definitely see that the more it goes, the more progressive it gets, and pushing with those, like, I don't know, old rock and roll solos, and like,
David Gilmour, you mean?
yeah, Exactly. And I have like multiple other project myself, which I have like a blues project, and that gets me like that pushed me in another other like direction where when I compose with Beyond Creation, I'm already familiar with other stuff where I can work around to incorporate in Beyond Creation, and doesn't feel like it's just like add up like a little like it's more of a transition or something that people will understand, not just like, oh, so he put like 70s music there, he put some death metal there, he put some like progressive there. It's just like it's a whole thing where people can travel through.
Wow. I like that line. Any last words for the rest of this tour? And for 2020, not too long from now, the year's been out, the album's been out a year already. We're almost at 2020. So anything you'd like to say for the rest of 2019 and beyond?
Well, of course, we still have a couple dates on this tour, pretty much half of the tour. It's been rad so far, so nice. We're really happy. Thanks to everyone who showed up to the shows and buy our music. It is what keeps us doing what we do, keeps us creating music and tour. And yeah, look at our website, Facebook page to see all the dates that's coming up. We will definitely announce some new tours because, of course, 1 year ago we've put out this new record, but still in the process where we still have a lot of places to tour and get there for the first time. There's still some places. So yeah, please check it out. Take an eye on us, and thank you so much for all your support. We really appreciate it.